In international business, speaking fluent English is only the baseline. To succeed in a high-stakes negotiation, you must find a perfect equilibrium between your tone, your phrasing, and your strategic intent. By the end of this video, you will have constructed a complete diplomatic script. We'll break down the exact vocabulary and structural frameworks required to walk into any English-speaking boardroom and create a mutually beneficial deal. For non-native speakers, the challenge is avoiding two extremes. Soft language can lead to weak compliance and lost leverage, while direct translations from other languages often sound blunt or demanding. The goal is a steady state of polite assertiveness. Using the correct English phrasing transforms a potential conflict into a strategic partnership. Step 1 is abandoning positional bargaining. This happens when both sides argue over a single fixed demand. To break a stalemate, stop arguing over positions and start framing a trade. Consider the 1978 peace talks over the Sinai Peninsula. Egypt and Israel were completely deadlocked. Both nations demanded full control of the land. Their physical positions were mutually exclusive, reaching a diplomatic dead end where neither could move. The breakthrough occurred when leaders like Anwar Sadat looked past the terrain to identify their underlying interests. Egypt sought sovereignty, Israel sought security. These needs were compatible. You can apply this in business through a contingent agreement, an if-then statement that balances competing needs. Instead of just asking for a lower price, you say, if we can agree to a 24-month contract, then I can lower the monthly rate. Framing the trade this way ensures that satisfying their request automatically secures your required condition. Even a smart strategy fails if the tone is wrong. In English business communication, blunt, imperative statements are perceived as aggressive. Saying, "Give me exclusive distribution rights," triggers immediate defensiveness. That pressure causes the counterpart to stall the negotiation. Avoid this using linguistic softening. Upgrade blunt demands with modals of diplomacy: could, would, and should. I need becomes I would appreciate. Phrasing demands as questions, like would you be able to lower the requirement, invites collaboration, signaling respect without surrendering leverage. High-level diplomacy relies on maintaining firm business boundaries while using language that encourages cooperation. You must be prepared for friction. Counterparts may use hard rejections, psychological pressure, or bad faith tactics to get their way. Appeasing pressure tactics creates long-term instability. Neville Chamberlain learned this during the 1938 Munich Agreement, where giving in to aggressive demands only invited further hostility. When faced with these tactics, a negotiator should stop the haggling and explicitly negotiate the rules of the engagement. The positive no technique allows you to validate their limit while proposing a new variable. You say, "I understand that budget is your absolute limit. However, what if we looked at adjusting the delivery schedule?" Absorbing the rejection and pivoting to a different issue protects the mutual gains framework from devolving into a win-lose battle. Once you have aligned your interests, you must perform the final step. Never leave the table without verbally summarizing the agreed-upon mutual gains. Confirm total alignment by using specific summary phrasing. So, to recap, we have agreed on X in exchange for Y. If the trust is high, you can propose a post-settlement settlement. Ask if the current deal can be tweaked to provide even more value for both parties. This verbal recap acts as a professional signature, locking in the specific strategic value created during the conversation. You are now prepared to frame contingent trades, soften your requests with modal verbs, and use the positive no to pivot past rejection. As negotiation expert Margaret Neal explains, you cannot force a counterpart to say yes. Successful negotiation is a guided, cooperative conversation to uncover hidden value. Using these polite phrases and strategic frameworks, you are ready to secure a win-win in your next meeting.